inbound call quality SOP. And what I want to do is kind of show you some of the resources that are available in Inkling so that when we get to that test at the end of the day, you have the right resources pulled up to answer questions, okay? So if I come over here, and let me just get all the way back to my library, I think that, to Julia's point, a really great place to start, or maybe you do the essentials training first, right? That's in the workbook that Evan was referencing to, standard operating procedures. After you do that, come on over here to the standard operating procedures. And we've kicked off each morning with a tour over here. Okay, so we come here, inbound phone quality, we now call inbound call quality. This is the standard operating procedure guidelines for inbound call quality. And it really, in very, very great detail, walks you through the exact process. And that process is first impressions, identifying client's need, providing personal solutions, and securing the appointment. And then we start going through here and really deep diving each one of these. It gives you a lot of detail, and I haven't done the essentials, so I'm not 100% sure what's in that essentials, but it's talking about things like right off the bat, what are some big changes that we've made? And I think this one is really critical. Last year, we used to do live mystery shop calls, and they were really important in verifying that we were actually answering the phones correctly and we were comfortable answering the phones. But sometimes they became frustrating to our CSPs and to our managers because we were spending 5-10 minutes on the phone with a client only to find out that it was a mystery shop call. And in the meantime, the phone was ringing off the hook. There were people in front of us, so it was almost like a distraction, a necessary distraction, but a distraction nonetheless. So this year we're changing that. And I want to be fully transparent with this because it's really, really important. We're using artificial intelligence. We're using bots to listen in on all of our inbound calls, and it's looking for sentiment. It's measuring, are we saying the right words? Are we asking the right questions? It's even listening for laughter on the calls. So, I think it's always good to have in the back of our mind, I always say this, when you're talking to someone, and you're afraid you're going to say something maybe wrong or out of place. I once had a boss who said, don't say anything that you would be afraid if it were printed on the front page of the newspaper, right? So kind of keep that in mind as you're talking with a client. Are you providing the greatest experience possible? Or you can say, are you treating this client like their family, right? And providing them the service that you would expect to receive. So that mystery shop calling component, or that bot feature, is new this year. And then they break down and we go into great detail around first impressions, right? And I'm not going to go through each one of these, and videos to listen to. And how do we identify clients' needs? And how do we inspire confidence? And what does that sound like, right? So I wanted to make sure I was taking you over here to that SOP, right? And I want to also set this in your mind. Right now, you're learning this, right? You're getting comfortable with it. In a few weeks, you're going to be leading your CSPs, and you're going to be listening to how your tax pros are answering the phone. In the past, it was pretty, H&R Block, how can I help you? It was very like simple. You need an appointment? Great, I'll set the appointment. Now it's a lot different game, because we're serving clients remotely. We're solving problems over the phone. So a little bit different, and we need to make sure we really master this skill. So as we move through this today, I want you to be thinking about, how am I going to make sure I have the best people on the phone? How am I sure, first and foremost, I'm prepared, but then how's my team prepared to serve the client? Okay, so that's where we find the actual SOP in its full glory. It's all its detail. Now we come down here to your workbook. And there was I was reviewing some of the notes yesterday, and I saw some chatter about what week are we in, and you even heard me say, you guys go to week 4. I know it's a little confusing for the ATLs, because it's week 4, and I realized that I read that wrong, because you click on your title, and then you go to your week. And then your content and curriculum is broken down here, right? So I'm going to go back up here to multi-unit team leader. And I'm going to go down here to week 4, because that's where I've been looking at it and I'm comfortable with it. Remember, we're looking at customer centric. That's a focus this week. We've talked about Work Center. We've talked about service quality. And now we're in here to inbound call quality. And we're a company full of abbreviations and acronyms. ICQ, inbound call quality. So here's the role play piece. And then here are the essentials down here. And this is what you guys did yesterday, was the essentials. So before we jump into this this experiential learning today, any feedback on kind of aha moments, or what you learned yesterday in the essentials piece? What stood out on phone quality and answering the phone calls?
Are we doing this too early in the morning?
Well, I think the thing that struck me the most was what you're not seeing, which is the CSP or Tax Pro or the ATL. They're looking at a screen and they're being prompted with questions, and those questions feed into what level of a Tax Pro is assigned.
Yeah. So how about this? Let's ask this question. What's your biggest fear in answering the phone? You're new on the job. It's January 3rd. You're an ATL and the phone rings. What's your biggest fear?
Not knowing what I'm talking about.
There you go. There you go. I don't know. I remember, I'll give 2 stories. When I worked at Sports Authority, and we would have like big regional visits or whatever, the department that I steered clear of was the fishing department. I love to fish. I'm not a good fisherman. And there's so many little lures and there's so many things. I didn't understand the flow. So guess what I would do? I'd like steer them away from the fishing department. And I remember when I first came on here at H&R Block, it was horrifying for me to pick up the phone and start talking to clients, because I didn't necessarily know what to say, right? And there's a lot of things that they could call and ask you about, right? What if they call up and say to you, can I get an Emerald card still? And you're like, whoa, what's an Emerald card? Right? Hi, I'm calling about my 2017 return. I received a letter. Oh, what do you mean you received a letter? From whom? Your mom? No, the IRS? Oh, okay. Oh boy, that sounds horrible. What kind of, what'd the letter say? You know, what do you say? You know, so I hear you, Jen, like getting comfortable with all of those things. But remember, up front, right now, early on, all we're doing when we answer the phone is listening for what's being said and getting it to the right person, which Tucker was talking about. Chuck, what do you have?
I just wanted to make sure that all the ATLs knew what the Tax Pro certification levels are. I'm not sure if it's covered in their training, but I covered it with both my ATLs and one-on-ones, but I just want to make sure they all were aware of what that meant.
Absolutely, and we'll speak to that. We'll definitely speak to certification levels and, you know, getting the questions to the right people and tax pros or clients matched with the correct tax pros. So, you know, I think, Jen, you're right on. It's that fear of, boy, if someone calls and they want to schedule an appointment, do I even know how to schedule an appointment right now? And the answer to that's probably no. And how crippling that feels on day one. And you're like, hey, tax pro, can you help me schedule an appointment? And by the way, I'm your leader, right? It's like this weird, you know, getting up to speed. And then think about this, your CSPs, if they're new, they have that same learning curve, right? Here's the good news. Every one of our MTLs have worked with H&R Block for years. So you have an incredible support network. And I really want you guys in your breakouts, in your one-on-ones, in the amount of time that you have with your MTLs, that you're raising your hand and, you know, maybe here in a group setting with 25 people, you're not comfortable, but when you're one-on-one with your team, with your manager, make sure you're saying, hey, a little uncomfortable here. I don't mind answering the phone, but it just horrifies me, right? Okay, so thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let's jump in a little bit. We now know where the SOP is found and it's all its detail. We went through the essentials training yesterday. You guys did that on your one-on-one or on your self-study time. And now we're going to go into a little bit of role playing, right? And our goal is, you know, to make sure that you guys can describe the steps for the inbound call quality SOP. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I can't, boom, right off the top of my mind, even though I just read them 5 minutes ago, I can't tell you what they are, 1, 2, 3, 4. I just can't do it. I too, when I'm taking this test, I would have to go over to that SOP and have it pulled up and look at that as I'm going through it. Create greater quality and consistency of execution. Really, you know, one of the things as a leader that you need to be thinking through and being conscious of is listening and making sure we're aware of the words coming out of our mouth, right? And going back to that fear of not feeling comfortable providing the solution and the answer, you really want to make sure you protect that from the client, right? I hear it all the time, and it's just natural when we answer the phone and we're nervous and we don't know exactly. I hear people say things like, when they're talking with the client, yeah, this is the first time I've done this. This is my first day on the job. This is, you know, oh my gosh, I've never done this. And it's like, yeah, that what you're doing is you're saying how you feel, but you're also tearing away at the confidence that that client may feel, right? So I want to make sure that we're really focused on quality and consistency of execution. Investing in the long term by understanding the importance of consistency so we can win customers' experience and help our clients realize our value. It's kind of like when you go through, and I don't know if any of you eat McDonald's, probably do, but you might not admit it. But when you order that quarter pounder, the quarter pounder is the same. It doesn't matter if you're in New York, Lincoln, Denver, or Los Angeles. That quarter pounder is consistently the same. How long they cook it, when they flip it, how much salt and pepper they put on it, the order they put the condiments on. It's consistently the same because we have a standard in place. How we answer the phone is consistently the same. Thank you for calling H&R Block at. My name is blank. How can I help you? Right? Real simple. Location, name. How can I help you? And then quickly gathering their name and phone number. Can I have your name and phone number just in case we get disconnected? And you'll be amazed how many times A, we get disconnected, and B, you need their name and number throughout the process. And that's easy. Those first couple steps are easy. Getting to that point, easy. Then we step onto that diving board and we jump off into the abyss. What are they, when you say, how can I help you? What happens next? And that's where your skills will get better and better, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you learn how to solve issues, right? And how to direct people to the right tax pro. Okay, so chat, mute, raise hand, turn on camera, all that good stuff. So mystery shop calls. We already talked a little bit about that bot. We talked a little bit about some of the things we're listening for. So let's listen to this clip. And you know what I just realized? I'm gonna have to unshare because I did not do audio. So give me 1 second. Okay. And I'll play for a second, then I'm going to put it on hold just to make sure you guys can hear. Could you guys hear the phone ringing?
Oh. Yep, it's good.
Okay.
Thanks for calling H&R Block at Youngstown Shopping Center. This is Kathy. How may I help you?
Yeah, hi. My name is Mary, and I need to get my taxes done.
Well, great, Mary. You called the right place. Can I get your phone number?
Yeah, it's 303-425-1212.
303-425-1212.
Yes.
Great. Well, I can get you an appointment. How's today at 4 o'clock?
You know, I could maybe do today, but everything I have is on my phone. I don't have anything printed out. So I couldn't do it today if I had to print things out.
Well, you know, you could just print stuff out and maybe, I don't know, drop it off if is time a concern or.
Yeah, I could probably do maybe later in the week, but I don't have a printer. So do you have an option where I could just get them to you without having to print them?
Well, you could maybe, I don't know, email them over to me. I can give you my email address.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. Is it secure?
Well, you know, it's email.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got another option. If printing's not a big deal, you could fax them to us.
Yeah. Well,
I'd really love to help you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not really used to printing things out anymore. I'm just so comfortable with my phone and my computer. You know, why don't let me make a couple phone calls, see what I can do, and can I give you a call back?
Sure, and I'd be happy to help you though.
Okay, well, let me see what I can do, maybe if I can get to a printer, and I'll give you a call back.
All right, Mary, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Wow. What stands out to you guys in that conversation? Was the person answering the phone, were they friendly? Were they nice? Guys, that's awful. Was the person answering the phone nice? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they were nice. Absolutely. Do you think she even realized that she just lost a client?
No.
No. No, she's like moving on. Hey, great. Well, if you need help, I'm here for you 100%. The client was begging for help, right? But she didn't know what to offer. So Jen, you said, hey, what about a digital drop off? She didn't offer it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I think it's, oh, I'm getting some noise there. I'm going to mute you guys and you'll have to jump right in and off of mute because I'm going to mute background noise reduced. But offering that digital solution. So let's go back over here, and I was kind of typing notes along as we were listening. She did a great job of getting location and name. She was upbeat. She collected the phone number. She even repeated it. Bam. She was in a great place. That's the easy part. She offered an appointment. I don't even know. I wasn't listening that closely, so I don't even know if she said she just wanted to make an appointment, but she offered an appointment, and the client immediately said, hey, I have my phone and all my documents are on the phone. So to me, boom, ding, 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 ding. This client's tech savvy. She said time was a concern, and the client was begging for help. She wants to be served in a digital way. I have my stuff. And then what did we do? We went to what we're comfortable with. And many of our team members, they hit the two most comfortable things because it's what they've done for the last 20 years. You can email me those documents. It's not a secure platform. We never want clients to email their documents to a tax pro. Not a good solution. And she said, well, you can fax those to us. And I wrote, who uses fax machines? Why isn't she offering my block? And the client was so dismayed by all this and so didn't know what to do next. She's like, I'll call you back. And what she's going to do is she's going to call somewhere else to get help, right? So what could be improved upon? What could it have sounded like? Jen mentioned digital drop off. Are you guys getting comfortable with digital drop off? Do you know what that would have sounded like? How would you offer a digital drop-off, right? So I'm assuming we'll get to that answer, but are you comfortable with offering a digital drop-off? And guess what? It's going to involve use of Workcenter, okay? So let's go down here and let's listen to the next audio clip.
Thanks for calling H&R Block Youngstown Shopping Center. This is Kathy. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi Kathy. I've been coming to you guys forever, and I just got my first IRS letter, and I'm really nervous. I'm just kind of freaking out.
Yeah, I know those IRS letters are just no fun. I want you to know you've called the right place. It can be really scary to get a letter, but we'd be more than happy to help you with it.
Oh, that's so great. I know my tax pro, Sarah, she's always there for me. I've never needed her, not during tax time. So yeah, I just hope you guys can help.
Sure. Now, by any chance, you said Sarah was your tax pro. Did you purchase the peace of mind?
Oh no, I trust Sarah.
Yeah, she is great. Well, I tell you what I can do. I can set up an audit service appointment. I'll send you over a MyBlock link via email, and you can upload that letter, and we'll get started.
I mean, perfect. I actually think I already have my block set up, so I think that's even better. I don't even have to do that. So just upload it up and then Sarah will take care of me?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, all right. Well, I will take care of that. And when should I maybe set up that appointment, or when do you think I can talk to her?
Well, I tell you what, do you have time available Friday afternoon?
Yeah, that gives me time to upload it and then come in. Do you have like a 3 o'clock?
I sure do.
Okay, I think that's perfect. Yeah, I can do 3 o'clock.
All right, sounds good. Bye now.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that call. What went well in there? What was good about that call?
She already had her account set up.
She already had an account set up. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
certainly help. That's certainly helpful. How did the
She
CSP?
offered peace of mind.
She asked about peace of mind. Yeah, those are good things. So she has some awareness around some of the client is prepared well with having their MyBlock account.
The CSP did a lot to reduce the client's anxiety.
Yeah. Yep. She gave the customer the reassurance she could be confident, she could take care of her. She gave her the best resources that would help her immediately. Yeah, I thought going back over here, I thought again, she did a really good job getting her name, getting the location, making sure that the CSP began building confidence. We can take care of this, right? I don't think she asked for her name and number. I don't remember hearing that. So that was kind of a miss. And then the call, she's at the edge of the diving board. She's moving along pretty well. But then some weird things I thought started to happen. So, maybe one of the MTLs who's done this before, what did you hear and what could have been improved upon?
She got like right there with the MyBlock invitation and having us upload the letter, but I think she missed in 2 spots that I heard, which was number 1, when she said she didn't have peace of mind with the tax pro, she didn't give the $99 price quote for audit services, which is something important to set expectations. And she didn't. And instead of making an appointment to come in after we get the letter, she could have just done a virtual consultation over the phone to just discuss the letter and then provide next steps. Maybe she needs to come in, but we don't need to necessarily know that right at first glance.
Yeah. And I think, what that could have looked like. And Austin, those were great points. What she could have said is, again, she went to what she thinks in the CSP's mind, or the manager, whoever she is that's answering the phone. The first thing that she was thinking was, oh my gosh, this person got a letter, and if we made a mistake, who's going to pay for it, right? Do you have peace of mind? Peace of mind is a product that a client can purchase that will protect them up to $6,000 in liability, and it covers all the fees associated with fixing this letter. I personally wouldn't have even gone there. I wouldn't have even mentioned peace of mind. I would have said something along the lines of what Austin mentioned. Ma'am, we can absolutely take care of you today. And notice I said today. We do have an audit service program. It costs $99, but what I would love to do is set you up with one of our tax pros for a virtual consultation. Now, in order to prepare for that virtual consultation, I hear you mention that you have your MyBlock account. Can you scan that document that you received, that letter that you received, into the system this morning and I'll schedule a time to have one of my tax pros call you back. We'll review it and we'll give you the next appropriate steps. But be confident, rest assured, we're going to get this taken care of for you. That's a very different conversation than what happened. What happened was the client was almost leading the tax pro or the H&R Block employee through the next steps. Well, are you going to set up an appointment? Is someone going to call me back? It was just a little bit clunky, right? And, you know, this is where you're going to need to really use all of the resources, because we break down these resources and texts and scripts and different things like that in that SOP to help guide you through how do we answer these questions, right? Or how do we take care of these inbound calls, and how do we come up with better solutions? So
Tom,
yes.
the tax pro, she should have also contacted the tax pro to let them know that something's coming their direction and who the client was, because she has a great relationship now with that tax pro. Get the tax pro involved early.
Yeah. What if that tax pro's not working? What if, so say Sarah, I think Sarah was the tax pro, right? That she loves. What happens if maybe Sarah moved to Texas, or maybe Sarah's not scheduled for another week? Do we wait for Sarah? Or do we assign that to a different tax pro and have another tax pro take a look at it? What do you think? Is there a deadline? Is there a timeline around letters? Should there be a sense of urgency around a letter?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, if Sarah's available, we can absolutely assign it to Sarah if that's what the client would like. But say the client brings us a letter that's already 2 or 3 weeks old, and then we wait for another week to get it to. We're 4 weeks into the process, and there's a deadline with this letter. The first thing that we want to do is get that letter, get our hands on the letter digitally through their MyBlock account, and get it to a tax pro to review, to determine if there's a sense of urgency. Many letters, there's no action needed. It's just an auto-generated letter that came out by the IRS that can be resolved very, very quickly. So let's move on here to recognizing performance. Scenario 1, tax pro. Who wants to be the tax pro? I'm tired of reading. Who wants to be the tax pro and someone be the client? And let's do a little skit here. Oh my goodness. Trevor raised his hand.
I can speak for someone.
Trevor, you want to be the client or the tax pro?
Either way, but you got to put it back on the screen for me. I'm not following.
I will. So client, you're going to be, I'm sorry, Trevor will be tax pro Trevor. Who wants to be the
client?
Julia, thank you, will be the client. Tax pro, go.
Thank you for calling H&R Block on Main. This is Trevor. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Julia. I have a quick question.
I'm happy to help, but before we get started, can I get your phone number in case we get disconnected, Julia?
Sure, my number is 785-555-4567.
Thank you for that. How can I help you today?
Well, I uploaded all my documents for Amanda to look over, but I haven't heard anything back from her. It's been a week and I need to get this done.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Well, I know it's frustrating to have to wait. Wait just one moment. Let me see what I can find for you. Okay, it looks like your return has been started. Let me schedule a callback appointment with Amanda right now so I can get this finished up for you. We have a 4 o'clock open tomorrow or a noon the next day. Do any of those work for you?
I could do 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Perfect. Thanks, Julia. I'll make sure that Amanda gets started on that right away, and she'll give you a call tomorrow at 4. Anything else I can help you with?
No, this has been super helpful. Thank you so much.
Great. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Julia. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
God, you guys have a future in voiceovers. That wasn't, I thought I
That
was
sounded
listening
like a recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that might have been better than them. So, wow. So, was that a good call? How did the tax pro? How did Trevor do? Did he do a great job?
Yes.
Okay. If you were the ATL and you overheard that, what would you say was, how would you recognize him?
Trevor, I heard you that call that you got just a moment ago with that client that was upset looking for their tax pro. You did a great job of making sure you set the call back there, and so the tax pro could touch base with them. That helps a lot when it comes to make sure clients feel better if their return's on hold.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think Trevor got the answers? What did Trevor provided a solution? And one of the things that he said, which was great, was, I see your return has already been started. Let's schedule an appointment with so-and-so to have them finish up with you. How did Trevor know the return was started?
Work Center.
Yeah. Trevor used Work Center to identify the return was started and secured an appointment to finish the return. The client was grateful, right? What do you notice that he didn't do? He didn't say, oh, let me reach out to Sarah and we'll have Sarah give you a call back, and reach for one of those little pink pads that's up at the front and write a message, Sarah, client called, wants to know status of her tax return, and then go and tape it on her desk. That's not what he did. He offered a solution and he scheduled an appointment so that when Sarah comes in, boom, she's already there. So it's really, he didn't pass the buck. He took control of it. Awesome. Let's do another one. I need a receptionist volunteer and a client volunteer. Receptionist and a client. God,
I'm happy to do one.
Thank you. I don't know who that was. Was that
Jen?
Victoria's hand is raised.
I'll be one.
Excellent. So we got, why don't Jen, you be the receptionist. Victoria, you can be the client. Let's hit it.
Thank you for calling H&R Block on 23rd Street. My name is Jen. How can I help you?
Hi, I wanted to get my taxes done. I've always filed myself, but this year I have a rental property and I really need some help with that.
Wonderful. You've come to the right place. Before we get you set up, may I please have your name and number just in case we get disconnected?
Oh, sure. My name's Victoria and my number is 702-555-9876.
Perfect. Let me repeat your number back to you. Your number is 702-555-9876, correct?
Yep, you got it.
Excellent. So you have a rental property. Do you have a partnership, a corporation, trust, or an estate?
No, I don't have any of those.
Okay, well, would you prefer to come into the office, have a phone call, drop off your documents, or file your return virtually?
Oh, wow, that's a lot of options. Well, I was planning on taking some time off of work, but we're really busy now. I would love not to have to come in. How does drop-off work?
Oh, it's really convenient. First, you'll drop off your documents for a tax prep at our office. When you arrive, we'll verify that you have the documents needed to get started, and we'll help you fill out the drop-off packet. Once your return's been completed, you can come back into the office for a 30-minute appointment to review and to sign the return, or you can approve and sign right online.
Wow, that sounds great. Well, I already have all my documents printed out, so that would be really easy. I'd love to be able to sign online once it's done.
Great. Well, I will send you over an invite to set up a MyBlock account. This is how we'll communicate with you if we have any questions, since it is a secure messaging system. It's also how we'll have you sign your document when it's time. Can you give me a good email address for you?
Yeah, sure. It's victoria@email.com.
Okay, you should receive an email with instructions on how to set up your account. You can drop off your documents at any time. What else can we do to help you today?
Well, I think that's about it. So you've really made this whole process a lot simpler than I expected. Thank you so much for all your help.
You are so welcome. Make sure you set up your MyBlock account, and we will see you soon to drop off your documents. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too.
Oh, man, great job, ladies. That was wonderful. As you're going through and you're listening to this, are you saying to yourself, wow, can I do that? Do I know how to do that? Do I know how to send that MyBlock? And she mentioned something about coming into the office and filling out paperwork, right? So, clearly this receptionist did a phenomenal job. It needs to be recognized for doing a great job. I think the scenario is interesting. And I guess the client said she had all her documents printed up, right? Did the client have to come in to the office, or could she have scanned those documents in? And why did we end up having her come in to physically drop them off? Did she want to do that? Or was that the easiest thing for the tax pro to do, or for the receptionist to do? So I'm not really saying here whether or not the receptionist made a mistake by not offering to have the client scan the documents in, but she could have said, would you be comfortable scanning those documents into your MyBlock account? It's a secure and encrypted portal. You'll have electronic copies of your documents on hand for future reference, and you'll eliminate a visit to the office. We could have done that. Now, if the client did say she's taken some time off, she's already printed up the documents, so maybe that receptionist felt comfortable going that route, which is fine. It's really whatever the client is most comfortable with. But I think there was maybe an opportunity to offer that MyBlock, that digital drop-off service. So in general, though, I think she did a phenomenal job. Okay, coaching for performance. Let's have a couple more volunteers here. We need someone to read Tax Pro and someone to read Client, and then let's do a debrief here. Is everyone still there? They are. Who would like to be the client and who would like to be the tax pro? Let's see here. We've got Lenny, we got Carol, we got Christine, we got Tucker, we got Linda. We've heard from Jen. We've heard a lot from John. We got Kayla. We got, I love the way Chuck does interviews and whatnot. We got Chuck. We got Kelsey. We've got someone I don't recognize. Their phone number. We got Lissa. We got all kinds of people. Nicole, who's going to be a volunteer? Let's knock some rust off, folks. Guys? Okay. I'm going to make this one painful. So
Carol
we're
put her
going
hand
to.
up.
Who's that?
So Carol put her hand up.
Carol, good. And Chuck, you spoke, so I guess you'll be a volunteer as well. So we got Carol and Chuck are gonna. Carol, why don't you be the tax pro? Chuck, why don't you be the client?
Sounds good. Thank you for calling H&R Block on 6th Street. This is Carol. How can I help you?
Hi. I hope you can help me. I just got my refund and it's less than what I was expecting. What happened?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. I know that's frustrating. Can I get your name and number just in case we get disconnected?
Yeah, my name is Chuck and my number is 661-555-5678.
Thanks, Chuck. So, were you expecting a bigger refund? Maybe you owed money for a student loan?
No, I don't have any student loans.
Oh, okay. Well, do you owe any child support? Could that be it?
Nope, I don't. Don't have a way to look up. Don't you have a way to look up what happened?
I'll tell you what. Can you tell me who did your return? I can schedule a callback time for them to meet with you.
I think his name was Justin, but I don't have a lot of free time. You mean you can't just tell me?
I see that Justin has some time tomorrow. Can I schedule you a call back at 2 o'clock?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, great. I have you scheduled tomorrow at 2 o'clock with Justin. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
No thanks.
Okay, well, thanks for calling H&R Block. Have a great day.
Oh, man, that one was juicy. That was really, really juicy. So I'm going to go back over here to video. And, you know, I want, this happens all the time, right? People call up, they got their return. It wasn't what they expected. Why? Because, you know, they don't necessarily, they're not hearing everything. I call it the bobblehead syndrome, when, you know, you get to the end of an hour-long appointment and they're just like bobbling their head. And they hear a final number and they take the state and the federal, they bundle it together and they're expecting $1,200. That's what they heard. But they did a refund transfer, so, you know, the prep fees came out of it. So now they're really only getting $950. And they're getting some from state and some from federal. So maybe they received the federal portion, which was $600, and they're waiting for $200. So here they're thinking they're getting a check for $1,200 and they got a check for $600. That's their concern, right? So, you know, I'm going to ask one of the MTLs who has experience with this, because a CSP is not going to know what to do necessarily right off the bat. So one of y'all, one of my trustworthy MTLs, how would you handle that situation?
Well, I was going to answer till you threw in the trustworthy caveat, but I guess I'll still go. So we have in DNA, there's an application called Where's My Money tool. Sometimes it's referred to as WIMS with a $sign. It's a manager access level tool that lets us see how much in funds was dispersed from which entity, so federal or state, and then how much was taken for any sort of H&R Block corrections, like a refund transfer. Or it's actually a possibility that they came in and did a refund transfer last year, but we never received that funding from the IRS or the state, so then they fees from last year. So we have a tool that gives us a full breakdown, and really it's a specific call for a team leader to make back to the client, because we're the ones that have access to the entire picture.
Yeah, so great answer. So Austin went to using a resource that probably is underutilized. A lot of folks don't know how to use Where's My Money, right? That's one solution. What I would probably do is what did you notice the CSP did that was a little odd? Right when they did it, it was like, what are we doing here? She started doing what?
She was asking questions about possible things that could have held up the money, like child support or back taxes, which.
If I called H&R Block and I were a client, I work my ass off, right? I try to make sure everything's in line. I just don't understand why I didn't get what I thought I was getting. And someone starts saying, do you owe child support? Do you have student loan debt? It's like, does this person actually think they're going to guess the right answer? It's just not the way we would go about it. When in doubt, you know what she could have done? Ma'am, I got your name and number. Let me do a little research here and we'll call you right back. Could have done that. Could have gone into Work Center, pulled up the client's name, could have looked at document. There's any number of ways they could have gotten the solution. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a tax pro, so I don't know the best way to get the answer, but I know I have a team of people that can look into it. And, we could have gotten that solution to her and not made her wait on the phone, but created a sense of urgency and said, I'll give you a call right back with the answer. Or if you have a tax pro sitting there and they're idle, they're not working with a client, you know what? Let me have a tax pro give you a hand. Transfer it over to that tax pro. And then I think what's so important as you guys are learning, listen, watch how they solve the situation. Because there are many things that we can do to take workload off of the tax pro, right? The solution isn't always pass it to the tax pro, okay? So good stuff. Get ready for that one because it's coming, right? That one plays itself out over and over and over. Let's go into scenario 4. Why don't we do this? I'll be one because I don't want to wait for 5 minutes trying to get a volunteer. So I'll be the trustworthy client. I need someone to be a receptionist for me.
I'll do it. This is Denise.
Hey, Denise. Okay, let's hit it.
Oh, thank you for calling H&R Block on Berry Road. This is Felicity. How can I help you?
Hi, I need to file my taxes this year. I usually have my friends do them, but she moved and I should probably get started on them. She never charged me to file. Do you know how much it will be to file with you guys this year?
Well, we would be happy to help you this year. Thanks for thinking of us. What's your name and a good number, and I'll call you back in case we get disconnected.
My name's Tom, and my phone number is 913-555-0123.
Thanks, Tom. So we have a few options available for you to file. You could have an appointment with the tax pro in our office. You can talk to them over the phone. You can drop off your documents in the store, or you can do it all virtually. What do you think works best for you?
Well, it's good to know you have all those wonderful options, but I really just want to get a price to figure out what I'm getting myself into.
Okay, I just need to ask you a few questions. Do you own a home, have any investment income, or any dependents?
Nope, I just rent an apartment and it's just me. My tax return's really simple, so it should be pretty cheap, right? What do you call it? The easy form?
It looks like for a simple return for both federal and state, it should be about $150 for your return this year, but a tax professional can give you an accurate estimate for that.
Okay, well, thanks for that information.
You're welcome. Anything else I can help?
Nope, I'll have to call you back when I decide what to do.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. Thanks for calling us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, my script. Okay, I don't know what exactly we mean by my script there. Was that, we're starting to introduce some new terms, upfront pricing, transparency. So, is this a huge opportunity for us right now? A new client has called and they're thinking about doing their tax return with us. Is this a great opportunity?
Yes.
Do you think we did a good job there of securing the appointment and getting this client to come back to us?
No.
No. Did we do what they asked? A price, right? But did we follow the process? And many of you guys, and this is going back to what Jen said in the very, very beginning, this is when, you know, you'll get better with this in time. So let's think about this for a second. A new client calls in, they're looking for a price. What do we want to do? We want to secure that new client. What do we want to do? We want to showcase our tax pros' ability, and we want a tax pro talking to that new client. Now, it depends upon what time of the year it is. But if you have a new client who's calling in and asking about pricing, yeah, we have a sheet. We can go through and we can do upfront pricing over the phone, just like the CSP did. But there's a couple things that we didn't do. We didn't secure the client's information. We didn't set them up in MyBlock. We didn't do a true, thorough upfront pricing interview with the client that a tax pro could showcase their knowledge and start to build that rapport with the client. You know, so they kind of, hey, it's going to be about 150 bucks. Okay, great. I'll think about it. Whereas if you said, you know what, thank you so much for calling. We do have upfront pricing transparency available. Let me do this. I have a wonderful tax pro who's actually available right now. And let me transfer you over to Cheryl, and she'll run you through, you know, some of the services that we offer and discuss that pricing with you. I think you're going to find Cheryl to be an incredible resource. Boom, transfer it over to Cheryl. Cheryl opens up WorkCenter. She creates a new client profile. She goes in and she does the pricing in the WorkCenter tool. And she's like, you know what? Look, I can have this done for you in the next 20 minutes. I can send you a digital invite. You can scan that document over. We'll be done here within the hour. Wow. Doesn't that sound a little bit better than just, yeah, it's going to be 150 bucks, right? So, you know, I really want you guys to, when you're thinking about like upfront pricing transparency, how does the process work? What's the goal? The goal is to secure and earn a client, right? So again, you're going to get more and more comfortable with this, and MTLs, you know, you should be writing down notes, things that say, you know what, I heard Tom going there, and upfront pricing transparency is really important. It's so important, we run national ads on it. We put it on our front windows. We have a kiosk dedicated to it. And we know pricing is one of our biggest opportunities from client feedback. How do I, in my offices, how do I as an MTL make it really important? How do I as an ATL make sure that I really execute the plan? And the plan is not just giving a quick price quote. You know, yeah, giving a price quote's good, but really using the upfront pricing tool in WorkCenter to help you secure the client for the long term. Because once you put their information into the tool, Then it builds that profile and we can start communicating with the client. We can start gathering documents. And we also, by putting the price into the tool up front, if the client comes back at the very end and says, wait a second, I thought you said it was going to be $100. No, actually, it was $150 that we discussed, but let's go through that in more detail. So, you know, I think this is a great example. You remember yesterday we were talking about just one more client. That's all we need every day. So we had an opportunity here to get one more client. And the receptionist, yeah, I think the receptionist feels like she did a great job. She provided a price quote. But you as an ATL, you may see it a little bit differently. And perhaps my script here, okay, it's a great opportunity to secure a new client. I need as the ATL, comma, I need to have a discussion with the CSP to ensure she understands upfront pricing transparency, assigning to a TP, entering into work center, you know, making the process easy for the client, right? We want to showcase everything. Oh my gosh, you know what? Thank you so much for calling. I can get you in touch with a tax pro right now. They'll go through pricing with you, and we could probably have your return wrapped up this afternoon, and you may not even have to come into the office. How does that sound? Oh, that sounds good. Get me to a tax pro. So be thinking about those types of things as we move forward. Okay, so guys, I thought that was fun. You know, a little bit different than yesterday. We had a little bit of interaction. You know, I really challenge each of the MTLs to work with your ATLs. You heard the concern in the very beginning was, boy, there's just a lot to learn, right? There's a lot of questions that are going to be coming up. How do I get the answers to those questions? So, you know, make sure we're really going in and we understand the resources that are available and you're working with your ATLs to make sure they're more comfortable, okay? So the last step here is taking that test. We talked about that in the beginning of the call, making sure we're pulling up those resources, the SOP, which is going to give you a little bit more detail. I have no problem with MTLs pulling you guys together after the call and you guys as a group, MTLs, ATLs, going through and, you know, not doing the test together, right? But pulling it up, looking at it, asking questions. You know, a test is all about learning, right? Our goal here isn't to get you. It's not to, oh man, they weren't listening and they failed the test. It's really a knowledge check. And sometimes when we go through a test and we look for answers and we have discussion, that can be a really good learning process, okay? So I throw that out there. MTLs can work with their ATLs. You guys, you know, should start building bonds between one another, and maybe there's an ATL that you hear on the call or you see, and you can, you know, pick up the phone and call them or use Teams to get in touch with them. You know, start building that network a little bit. Some of these tests can be challenging. So with that, I'm going to sign off, but I'll open it up for any questions that anyone may have. Doesn't sound like there's any questions.
Hey, Tom, I have a question. It has nothing to do with our training today.
Yeah.
But while I have you, So I've had a couple CSPs reaching out and asking me when they're going to get their calendars for training. Any idea?
Yeah, so the CSP training begins next week, right?
Yep.
So what I want to do is at the beginning of the call, I said we're going to let those last interviews be finalized, get those last offers out, and then I'll send out, very similar to what I did with the first year tax pros, an orientation with the CSPs towards the end of next week. So that's something I'll be compiling today. The challenge is going to be keeping up with everyone who's new and added to the list, because I'll send it out today and then I'll have to send it out again. So, you know, we're really in a position, Denise, where we need to get all those offers out and extended. So I have one solid list that I'm sending out to folks. So we'll have the orientation middle to end of next week.
Okay, so should they, their training starts Monday. I guess maybe I'm not understanding what they're supposed to start on Monday then.
I don't think their training starts Monday. It releases Monday. So let's look at it. Oops, not that one. Let's go over there and let's look. So this is really a great conversation. So how do we get to that CSP scorecard? We come over here to field learning, skills to win, CSP. We click on it. It takes us to their learning page. New clients, here's the passport. Let's click on this one. I haven't done this, so Denise, you may be on. Nope, this is good. So this shows us here. This is their passport, right? So the passport walks you through all the training. The purpose of the skill is to win is equip, the tools, system, resources, boom, job aids, great. So part 1 releases on December 7th. The following modules are required training and fulfill you're ready to serve, completed by 1/15. A welcome. All of these are all self-study, and then they'll get, just like I did for the first years, this SOP and me invite. So we can't begin the training, it just releases and becomes available. Very similar to the training has been available for first year tax pros for several weeks now, but we didn't send out the communication and the invite because we want to have that orientation. Because if you're brand new, say you're a new CSP and your effective start date is 12/7, what we know is the system needs time to get caught up. So really it's not fully caught up until 12/9. So if we have an orientation on 12/7, we're not going to be able to give them everything they need. And we also have a lot of other things going on that day. So we'll have the orientation, and very similar to that first year tax pro, we'll go through. They sign in. How do they get their password? What's their email address? What office are they assigned to? What is DNA? How do I get to Block Academy? What is the training that I'm going to be doing? All of this. So we'll have that orientation towards the end of next week, just to make sure we have everyone hired up and we have everyone getting off started on the right foot together. So great question. More to come on that, but you'll see that communication coming out today. And then we'll have to do a follow-up one for folks that haven't been onboarded yet.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. I'm gonna write that down because that wasn't at the top of my list, but now it is at the top of my list. And along the same lines, we need to do a prior year tax pro communication as well, because they start part 2. So we'll jump into that as well. Any other questions? Cool. ATLs, why don't you drop off? MTLs, hang on for, we'll just kind of recap as a group. Thank you guys so much. Tomorrow's Friday, so we should be through all of the week 1 or week 2 training. It looks like we're not meeting up tomorrow. You're doing a 1-hour elements of coaching. So make sure you wrap up all of your skills to win for this week and be complete with that by the end of day tomorrow. If you haven't had a one-on-one and reached and been in communication with your MTLs pick up the phone. You know, yesterday evening, Trevor shared out, you know, kind of an agenda of what he's going over with his ATLs. I thought that was pretty good stuff. So ATLs, thank you. Let's look here real quickly at what next week's agenda looks like. Here we go. We got new ATLs. This is this week's agenda. Oh, next week. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Very good. You remember on Monday, you will be in your home office from 8 to 5, right? So, you know, starting to wonder, oh, how am I getting access? Do I have a key? How do I get in? MTLs, how are they getting in, right? We have lock boxes, okay? So that may be the easiest first solution. So next week, you guys, the next time we talk will be next Monday, and you're all going to be in your offices, and you're going to be doing this call from your offices on an office computer. So you get in at 8. What I'm going to do is have the huddle, our kickoff call at 9 o'clock. That will give you an hour to get in, situate yourself, and get comfortable in the office. And then on Tuesday, you have some self-study that you'll be completing from the office. And then we'll have 5 hour, is it 5 hours? A couple hours of time, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little bit, 8. Wow, there's 8 hours of self-study. So it looks like you're just going to be doing a lot of self-study from the office, it looks like. And then remember, we have those, we have scrimmages and office setups all scheduled. So more to come on Monday morning, but you're going to be in your offices on Monday morning. So coordinate and work with your MTLs to make sure you have the address. Yeah, you know, you're getting in there at 8 o'clock, you have access, all that kind of stuff. So guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon, and reach out if you need anything.
Okay.
Anything else? Hang on.
Bye. Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Thank you, Tom. Have a great day.
You too.